that time we didn't actually listen that much anymore, like at the time, like metal, and the influences came from like these 70s progressive bands more like, and of course we had a history already, like listening bands like Morbid Angel, Carcass, and before that Slayer and all these heavy metal bands, and still do, but that was the time like when we just discovered like, okay, there's this kind of music as well, like have been done, and it opened like new world to us.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Tomi Koivusaari from Amorphis, playing guitar.
And Tomi, if you don't mind, everybody listening to this podcast will be familiar with Amorphis, but I'm curious, for you, how do you usually describe Amorphis music?
I would like to say it sounds like Amorphis because I don't know if we are any like genre, like it doesn't feel like us like being a gothic or folk or progressive. I don't know. To us, we're not thinking that much those things. So we don't want to get like limitations when we're doing music. So I would like to say it's just amorphous music. But of course, it's heavy metal. It's metal music in a way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the. But I don't know subgenres.
Amorphis is based in Finland, and you guys just emerged from the Finnish death metal scene. Every week I speak to a young band. Some of them are young enough to be my kids, and they take a lot of inspiration from that old sound, that old style. Do you feel like there are elements of that style still in your music?
Well, I guess the melodies has always been very important to us, and of course the contrast between like rolling vocals and clean vocals and like kind of heaviness and kind of like folk oriented melodies. So I think they are still, but of course, when we've been together like 34 years already, so I'd like to see us like progress it some way. So, but I think the basic elements and those are still there.
So this year, 2024, marks the 30th anniversary of your second album, Tales from the Thousand Lakes, which you'll be celebrating with a live release, which will be coming out in July. I'd like to speak about the original recording of Tales from the Thousand Lakes. It was a departure from your earlier recordings. I'm curious what the mentality of the band was at the time.
Well, we had a first album came out like Karelin Isthmus, and nothing really like happened after that, and it felt to us either like we didn't know yet like find our own style. We were very young at the time, so you can hear like that time's influences. There is like Paradise Lost kind of doomish melody songs, but then we started to listen like different kind of music as well, like folk music and 70s progressive rock bands, and so we took those influences to our music and new songs at the time, and same time started to use the like folkloristic lyrics from this Kalevala, and we didn't know what our fans are gonna react it. And I remember we were in a studio, Stockholm. Thomas Skogsberg said that, does our record label know what we're doing? You sound like Russian disco. So we were like, okay, nice. But we were like trusting ourselves, and we thought that no matter what, but if we like it, it's the real thing. And so it was a nice surprise that it like actually were very well taken, and that was kind of our breakthrough album in a way.
And so the record company at the time would have been Nuclear Blast and Relapse, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Relapse was like the main, and Nuclear Blast was a distributor in Europe.
Okay. I'm curious, when they finally heard the album, what was their reaction?
I guess they liked it. I think so, because they were putting a lot of money to advertisements and things like this, and booked a lot of interviews. So I think they liked it, and I think it was like very original at the time to have like that kind of like 70s instruments in death metal music in a way, like Moog and Hammonds and those kind of melodies. So it was like very unique, more unique than nowadays. There's like, I think, a lot of like folk metal bands and things like this, and taking influences from whatever. But at the time, it was very like sounded unique, I guess.
Yeah, I do remember, because the album came out a little bit after I discovered the underground, and so I do remember interviews in like Rip Magazine or Metal Maniacs, and it seemed like most of the feedback was very, very positive. Do you remember what the feedback was at the time from the press or from the fans?
It was very good. I remember we went to a record company visit like first time to give some interviews, and then we saw, because it was time before internet, so we didn't have any idea how the reviews has been. So we just saw some like huge prints or copies from the reviews, and they were all like very good, like 10 out of 10. And we were very amazed about that. And pretty soon we started like touring in Europe and in US, and that's like started everything to us. So yeah, it was very good feedback. But at the same time, we didn't know if it's like with every band, like when they're going to tour, that it's sold out gigs, because that was first time to us. So we just thought that this will happen to every band, so we didn't know that much. Yeah, it was the first European tour we did. It was like sold out shows, and after that we did this tour with Entombed in US. And of course that was a little bit rougher because we were touring with the van 7 weeks and opening for Entombed. It wasn't that holiday, but it was fun because we also were huge Entombed fans, so we got to see them live every night, and it was all new to us, first time in States, and it was a lot of partying, and that's how it is when you're like 20 or something.
Yeah. So on this podcast, I ask a lot of questions about songwriting and recording. If you don't mind, at the time that you guys wrote the album, what was your process like? How did you guys usually start songs?
Well, it was very different than nowadays when we all have some kind of home studio, so it's easier to make like ready songs with the demos and there's the drums and basses and stuff. But that time we just went to rehearsing place and somebody had some riff or idea and we were jamming and somebody else had, okay, I have this riff and let's add it here. And it was more like just going with the feeling or flow and just jamming in a rehearsing place. And it was totally different than these days, I have to say. But it had some good things. And of course, nowadays it's easier to make like, I don't know, it's different time, but we didn't think that much of arrangements that time. It was more like what sounded good or felt good at each song. So, yeah.
So most of the songs came out of jams?
Yeah, something like that. Or somebody has some idea and somebody else came up with another idea and we just put them online, like didn't have too much like thinking it should be like a song structure. Like nowadays there's a verse and then pre-chorus and chorus and C part or something like this. We didn't think about that at all at the time. It was just like, yeah, actually there isn't like that much like choruses in that album, I guess. So it was, and the record vocal part came like in a studio. We didn't do those beforehand at all. It just was like instrumental stuff when we went to studio. And same day that I started to make the vocals or the growls, I was checking the lyrics and okay, we'll do this for this song. And I didn't practice at all. It was just like first take and that was it. And the whole recording and mixing process for that album lasted like 10 days. So it was also very different than nowadays when I'm doing my rhythm guitars like 10 days.
Now, was this the first album where you guys had a full-time keyboardist?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Casper. Yes.
So Casper, there were a lot of bands, especially the black metal bands or maybe some of the doom metal bands that had keyboards in their music, but very few were using keyboards the way that Casper did. Casper very much had a style that was like this 60s or 70s prog rock, like Iron Butterfly or The Doors or something like that.
Mm.
How did you know it was going to work with your music?
Well, we didn't, but we just started to like listen that kind of music ourselves as well, like 70s progressive music, Pink Floyd, King Crimson, Camel. So many good bands which are using Moogs and Hammonds and that kind of analog synthesizer. So we just wanted to have those in our music as well. We didn't think that much how it's gonna sound because, as you said, there wasn't too many bands with like in this scene like with the keyboards. I remember there was a Nocturnus. They had keyboards, but that's about it. What we knew. So we didn't have any like. It was anyway like new thing to have a keyboard, so we didn't think that much what kind of keyboards they should be. And Casper was very big fan of those like analog synthesizers, so we trusted him as well. And he found this room from Sunlight Studios which was full of these instruments. So that's how it happened.
So Thomas Skogsberg had a lot of the equipment that you guys ended up using on the album.
Yeah. Casper had some Korg synthesizer, but he didn't have at the time like own Moogs, but he was like a small child in a candy store when he found those synthesizers. So yeah, but they sounded great, and that time we didn't actually listen that much anymore, like at the time, like metal, and the influences came from like these 70s progressive bands more like, and of course we had a history already like listening bands like Morbid Angel, Carcass, and before that Slayer and all these heavy metal bands, and still do, but that was the time like when we just discovered like, okay, there's this kind of music as well, like have been done, and it opened like new world to us.
And I think Amorphis were one of the first bands who used both death growls and clean vocals. Where did you get the idea to do this?
I think originally we remember that Paradise Lost had a female singer, so we thought that let's find some like male singer to do the clean part, so we are different. But originally it came also because we started to think and feel that the crawling thing is not like, if we want to make this like bigger or musically, and we want like different kind of dimensions to our songs, we need some melodic singing as well. So it started from that, and after that we started. In Elegy I was like ready to give up the crawling thing, like just having a clean vocals. But when Tomi Joutsen came to band, he wanted us to have old stuff to setlist as well. So that was like first time to us as well, like looking back and finding the good things about our history. So then it came like naturally that we will have a crawling and a clean vocals, and Tomi is great for doing both, so it's good.
This live album and DVD was shot at Tavastia Club in Helsinki. I'm curious because on the recording I heard and the video that I saw, there was no audience. Was it just you guys and the camera crew?
Yes, it was. That was recorded in COVID times.
I see. Okay.
So it's without audience. It's strange. It didn't feel that strange at the time because it was like kind of new normal for a while to do streaming gigs, and when we had to like cancel 100 gigs anyway. But yeah, that's without audience. So it was very strange to us as well because there was like one guy behind the mixing table and between the songs, so
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like live as you could imagine. No audience.
So you've always played a few songs from this album live. I think Black Winter Day and maybe In the Beginning are usually part of your set list. But what was your feeling in revisiting the whole album from beginning to end?
I think they're very much like still like in our muscle memory, those songs. Yeah, because we have like had few songs from there like always in our set list. And like 10 years ago, we did some Tales anniversary, 20th anniversary tour as well. So we played the album, the whole album
Sure.
at the time as well. So it wasn't that difficult, and it's not like that technical stuff or anything like that. So it was quite easy to us. And we haven't like changed the arrangement that much. So it's wanted to have it like the original art, but with a little bit updated sound as live. I mean, to me, it's more important. I think it's better to do it like live than studio versions from old songs, because I think you'd never get the same feeling to the studio sound if you're doing it again. But on live, I think it's better. It's like okay.
So you guys were quite young and quite bold when you originally wrote and released this album, and you included a lot of different elements. Going back and re-recording it and relearning these songs, is there anything about these old songs that surprised you or that you're particularly impressed by?
It's hard to think. I think there's still the elements, but are like the basic elements are still the same, I guess. So not really. But it's hard to get like that kind of distance by myself to this album or those songs, because they are like being part of me like so many years. So I don't know actually. I'm trying to remember. Well, it's more progressive than in a way than the new stuff in a way, because there is sometimes it sounds like there's like riffs and riffs and riffs and not like the whole song, but that's how it's in the end anyway. Like it's more like not too much. I don't know what's the word. I don't know. It's very hard question to me to answer. Sorry.
Sure, I understand.
Life I see, this person
Do you want to say anything about the crew who handled the audio and the crew who handled the video?
Yeah, I think our sound engineer actually, who's doing our ear monitoring on live shows, mixed the album, and I think it sounds very good. And also Antti Kuivalainen, who were shooting it and did good job, because we didn't take it like we didn't have any breaks or we didn't have to redo the songs. It was, we wanted to do it like as it's live, even it wasn't any audience. But I think it's good work. I've seen it once, and I think it looked good, and yeah, nothing wrong. So and sounds good as well. So yeah, I think it's good.
The sound is great. I mean, it's, like I said, every week I speak to a band that's influenced by, the old school death metal, and are trying to recreate it. And so, of course, like everybody is very respectful and very worshipful of Thomas Skogsberg and those old recordings.
Mm.
How would you say that the sound for this recording compares to the original recording?
Well, of course, from original recording you can hear it. It's not like from this year. It's very different, but it still have a very unique sound, and this is like more updated in a way, and it's like with the same sounds we are nowadays playing, like the same guitar sounds, or we didn't like change it to that it would sound more like Tales Times. So I guess, and it's not like when you ask about like earlier, like what was amazed me or something. It's not, those songs are not that metal or that like much riffing. It's more like melodies, and it's with different kind of sounds and a different kind of vocals. I think it would be like totally different genre than it actually is, and those songs are not that death metal. I mean, at the time it was like a death metal band, but it doesn't sound that much to me. And I think it works with like fresher sounds as well, those songs, and with the Santeris keyboards, and but basically the basic, like 4 of us who was in a band in Tales from Thousand Lakes are now in a band as well. So it's fun that it's not like totally new guys. It's just a new singer and plus new singer and keyboard player.
So as we finish up, you will be heading out on the road soon. We're in the middle of festival season. Will you be playing the album in the same way from beginning to end? Or will your set list be more varied, including your more recent recordings?
Yeah, we haven't actually, those will not be like Tales shows, but we were just starting to discuss about this, like should we add a little bit more Tales stuff to the set list, and now it's like 50-50 because it's not easy with 6 guys because everyone has a different opinion about things. But I'm pretty sure there will be a few songs from Tales from the Thousand Lakes on tour.
Do you have a favorite song to play live from this album?
Well, I like Into Hiding. That's always been fun to play, and also some songs we haven't played that much like lately, like Castaway and Magic and Mayhem. So you're not that fed up it, and I mean like Black Winter Day. It's great song to play with, interact with the audience, but like it's not the song that we are first playing in a rehearsing place, like because we have played that song like 3,000 times. So that's maybe a little bit less fun to play, but yeah, Into Hiding.
Before I let you go, I also need to mention that at the very end of the recording, you include an Abhorrence cover as well as My Can't Tell from the following album. Why did you include these songs with the live recording?
Well, we wanted to add some songs that it's not too short, but they are both like very important songs in a way. Like Vulgar Necrolatry was actually the reason we got the record deal back in the days, because Relapse guys wanted to sign Abhorrence, but I told them that we already split up, but we have a new band called Amorphis. So they said like, okay, they want to do the deal anyway if we will record Vulgar Necrolatry. So it's important song to us as well, and it's nice contrast between like newer stuff, because it's still very like brutal death metal song. And My Can't Tell is just, from next album, Elegy is also like important song from that time. And when we played those 20th anniversary gigs 10 years ago, we had some Elegy stuff and some Karelinismo stuff involved as well. So yeah, that's why.
So Tales from the Thousand Lakes, live at Tavastia, will be released on the 12th of July through Radiant Phoenix Music. Tomi, if people want to find more information about the live shows and the release of this live album and DVD, what's the best way to find it? How can people find you online?
Amorphis.net. That there should be all the information, or Amorphis Facebook, Instagram, or going to I think you can find everything from there.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Hope to see you on tour on fall, and check out the new live DVD and songs and Tales from the Thousand Lakes if you haven't heard it yet. So thank you for this interview.
Thank you so much, Tomi.
Thank you.